Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Joe Flash, and welcome back to another Mortal Kombat character voice comparison reaction video. Sorry about that. In my previous video, I did Quan Chi, and it kind of took some time for me to get into the video, and then it took me a little bit of time for me to talk about some, so the video is relatively a bit like 23 minutes long, even though it was a short 4-minute video, but sometimes I do have some things to say about some of the characters of the voice actors and all that stuff. So, it takes a bit more time sometimes, but hopefully it doesn't bother you guys, at least I'm not taking forever, but anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get into the next Mortal Kombat character. So the next one I've decided to do is none other than Shinnok, who so happens to kind of be a former Elder God. He used to be one before he's no longer there. I think it was because he was ultimately kicked out, because I think he turned evil. I mean, in Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the Wii, in the Conquest mode, when you help Shinnok get his throne back in his castle with Taven, I do remember that he did mention to Taven that he was a former Elder God, but he doesn't really explain why he was. I think it was because he didn't want to tell him that he was evil, and, even though Shinnok was also kind of secretly helping Dagon as well, because Shinnok is kind of, even though he's a good guy sometimes, but ultimately he's kind of somewhat of a bad guy, he became the main villain in Mortal Kombat X, and then, he dies in Mortal Kombat 11, but does make a brief appearance. I think he was killed by Raiden, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Shinnok can go back and forth, but he is another pretty cool character in the Mortal Kombat series. I feel like he's a bit underrated sometimes, but Shinnok's got some pretty good, powerful moves. He's a pretty solid character, you know what I mean? I think he first appeared in Mortal Kombat 4. I think he was actually the main boss in Mortal Kombat 4 too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was. Shinnok was the main boss in Mortal Kombat 4 as well. But he's another pretty cool character, I gotta give him credit. He's got some pretty good magic powers. He's got a good weaponry with that staff, it's a pretty unique shape of a staff as well. But Shinnok, he does actually got some pretty cool stuff, Sometimes I feel maybe he deserves a little bit more credit than usual, but Shinnok's pretty cool overall, nothing less. But anyway, there's not much left to be said, so I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, and Mortal Kombat X, it even is pretty cool, like, not only when he's the final boss, but then he also gets this power, like, evil power he gets from, like, his, I don't know, like, whatever it was he has on his belt, whatever, and he collects all the, I think it's the souls or something, I don't know what it is, but it gives him magical powers, and he becomes corrupted Shinnok, which makes him look like a demon, which is pretty bad. And so, whenever you get into the arcade mode, and, you complete the classic tower, or whatever tower you are, and you have to face Shinnok, he's kind of a little bit tough in the beginning when he's just in his normal form, but it's a lot more worse when you have to face him as corrupted Shinnok, because he is just disgusting to fight. It's almost as disgusting as if you were to fight Blaze in Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the Wii. If you remember when I played Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the Wii arcade mode, I was in so much of a rage having to defeat Blaze, because it doesn't even matter what difficulty you set on. I set it on the easiest difficulty, and Blaze was still kicking my ass, you know what I mean? And it was just ridiculous. So I'm sure fighting corrupted Shinnok would be just as rageable, if I was to. But anyway, at least the good part about fighting corrupted Shinnok is you don't have to do 2 rounds like you do when Shinnok's in his normal form. At least you don't have to fight corrupted Shinnok for 2 rounds. You can only face him in 1 round. That's good, because I would hate to have to fight him in 2 rounds, because that's just be ridiculous, you know what I mean? But anyway, there's not much left to be said, other than let's just go ahead and just get into it and find out who's going to be up on the list for my favorite Shinnoks, shall we? So who is going to join my list for favorites for Shinnok? Let's find out. So like John Cena and Triple H would always say, your time is up, my time is now. It's time to play the game. Let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? Shinnok voice comparison in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Comparing the voices of Shinnok. Oh, yes. Of course you gotta include Shinnok's debut appearance in Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 4, and as I said, he was the main villain of the game. So of course you gotta include him in his first appearance at a Mortal Kombat game. So yes, Steve Burren, if that's how you say his name, yes. I don't see why it wouldn't hurt to include his first appearance, or start out with his first appearance in a Mortal Kombat game, or in Mortal Kombat period. But yes, that is a fantastic voice. Heck yeah. I don't usually hear this too much, but that's a classic voice.
He says escape is futile.
You know what?
Who are you?
A lost soul. The guard is right, you know. Where would you escape?
You know what? Even though the voice is not that evil and that dark compared to the other guy that we saw in Mortal Kombat 4 or any of the other voices, even though Gary Wingert's voice isn't as deep or isn't as evil sounding compared to the other Shinnok voice actors, but you know what? His performance actually is not that bad. His performance in Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero in 1997, apparently they had a live-action segment for it and then they do it in the game. His performance, though, was actually not bad. He actually made a good Shinnok in the game. He's the final boss in this game, Mortal Kombat Mythologies. He's the final boss. You have to beat Shinnok to win the game. He actually made a pretty good Shinnok. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, even though the voice was a bit cringy because it wasn't as low or as deep compared to some of the other guys, but his performance was actually not bad. And even the costume actually isn't that bad, even though the crown is a little bit strange, I will admit. But still, overall, this guy's performance as Shinnok in this game actually wasn't that bad. He actually did pretty good. So, you know what? I'm going to respectfully go ahead and give him a thumbs up. I just have to. You know, it's not the worst Shinnok ever, of course. So, you know, I got to give respect to it. You know what I mean? This guy really actually did not make a bad Shinnok. So, yes. Thumbs up for Gary Wingert.
If you are here, then you must.
The makeup's not that bad either, even though it kind of does make him look a little different compared to the games, but at least even the makeup's pretty nice too, though.
Rejected or sent.
Like I said, I've never seen the live-action segment for it, because I haven't really seen Mr. G-Star 321's whole entire gameplay of this game, because I just had a feeling it was going to be stressful to watch just because he's raged a lot playing this game, because he hates this game. So I just figured, I don't know if I really want to watch his whole entire gameplay series playing this game, because it's probably going to be stressful to watch him play it. Oh. You know what? Yeah, I forgot. Shinnok actually was in Mortal Kombat Annihilation in 1997. The only problem, though, is that unfortunately he didn't appear like the way you usually see him in the games. He didn't appear with the white makeup or the crown. Because I think in this version of the series, in this movie, he was actually still an Elder God, so therefore he didn't get the iconic, like, costume of him wearing the crown or wearing red and all that, and he didn't even have his skin white either. So Shinnok, I think, in this movie was still an Elder God before he became the former Elder God and was no longer an Elder God, and then he became evil and stuff like you saw in Mortal Kombat 4. I think this is it, you know, because I barely remember that he was actually in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I was like, what at first, but then I forgot, you know what, Shinnok was in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. He was with the rest of the Elder Gods. I think that was what the point was in Mortal Kombat Annihilation for Shinnok, is that he was actually still an Elder God at this point. So, you know, he didn't appear with the white makeup or anything like that. But, I don't know. Honestly, I didn't really care about this guy's performance in Mortal Kombat Annihilation for Shinnok. It doesn't really count for me, honestly, because Shinnok is not appearing in his usual form that we all recognize him as. And even though we do know that he is a former Elder God, it just, I don't know, I like it better when he just isn't an Elder God and, you know, he's evil and all that, because that's what Shinnok is more well known. I mean, he can be back and forth, he can sometimes be good and sometimes evil, but I think he's more of evil than he is as good. But overall, I didn't really care about this guy's performance for Shinnok, so for due respect, it's a no for me. I'm sorry. I just really did not care about this guy's appearance. I really did not care about Shinnok in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. To me, it doesn't count. If Shinnok doesn't appear in his usual way that he appears in the games, I don't really count it. So, I can't really count this guy's performance. I'm sorry. So, no.
Stop! I do not want to remember you this week. It is not weak to value life. I offer you one final chance to return.
Although I will admit, the voice actually is okay. His voice is not that bad. It's not the best voice for Shinnok, but I will admit, this guy's voice, Rainer, that's his name, yeah, Rainer. I will admit, his voice is actually not that bad when it comes to it, but like I said, because of the whole costume design of him not getting the white makeup face and all that stuff, just really didn't matter for me. Oh, yes. Yes. I was just talking about this, I think, in the beginning of this video, I just talked about it, where Shinnok appeared in Mortal Kombat Armageddon and the Wii, and you know, you bump into him eventually at some point with Taven, and you see him being destroyed by Li Mei, and then you help him, and then you help him get his throne back and all by defeating all the forces of evil that was in there, and then, you know, he gets his throne back, and then you serve him, and then he's supposedly, Taven, he thought he was going to teleport you to Dagon, but unfortunately it was a trick, and Dagon was actually with him the whole entire time. However, Shinnok was impressed with Taven's performance, and so, you know, he was actually starting to have more faith in Taven than Dagon. But he still helps Dagon nevertheless, so, you know, he was secretly evil. Because, as I said, Shinnok did tell Taven that he was a former Elder God, but he didn't explain the reasoning why he was kicked out or why he wasn't an Elder God no more. But still, overall, this guy's voice acting in Mortal Kombat Armageddon was pretty good, so I definitely will give him a thumbs up, because his voice acting was actually pretty good, so yes.
I'm forever grateful. I don't understand. Why did you need my help, Lord Shinnok? You are an Elder God. I am an Elder God no longer. I have been cast down, punished for involving myself in the affairs of mortals. Now I am cursed to preside over this wretched netherrealm. What could you have done to anger the Elder Gods? Boldly asked, as always, Taven. Perhaps even a former Elder God may be permitted to ask his question first. Why are you here? Shao Kahn was blinded.
So yeah, there you go. But anyway. Wait, what? Hold on, was he in Mortal Kombat 9? Oh yeah, you know what? Yes, he was. He was in Mortal Kombat 9. He just wasn't a playable character, but he did appear in the story mode, though. Wasn't a playable character, but did appear in the story. Yeah, that he was. I forgot at first. I really completely forgot Shinnok actually was in the game. He just wasn't a playable character, but yeah, he is in Mortal Kombat 9. I think this is the ending, I think this is the last fight scene, I think. You know, when Raiden and Liu Kang get into a fight at first, and then I think Raiden defeats Shao Kahn and all that. But yeah, he was in Mortal Kombat 9. I think he pretty much, because he was still an Elder God at this time period, because as I said, in the beginning of this game, they went through the Mortal Kombat Armageddon storyline where Shao Kahn was about to win, and Raiden went back in time to restart the whole story and all that. So, you know, Liu Kang was back in human form. He wasn't zombie Liu Kang no more. They restarted the whole story, you know. And Shinnok was pretty much back in the time period where he was still an Elder God before he got kicked out and punished. And, you know, he had to suffer the consequences as a former Elder God, and then he becomes evil and all that. But yeah, he was in Mortal Kombat 9, 2011. And apparently Ken Laley was the man who voiced him. I think Ken Laley was actually in one of my previous Mortal Kombat voice comparison reaction videos. I just forgot which one, but he was in the previous ones, I think. Apparently I had no idea he voiced Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 9. That's pretty cool, though. He kind of almost looks like him. Look at the face. Face kind of almost resembles Shinnok in the picture here. He kind of almost resembles him. Kind of really almost looks like the character himself. So, you know, Ken Laley would probably look good in the makeup if he was to. He really almost resembles Shinnok in the game and kind of almost got the same facial expression going on. I really like the comparison of the faces here. It really almost looks like him. You gotta agree with me. He really actually almost looks like Shinnok himself here, and he probably would look good with the makeup on if they were to, you know? That would be pretty cool to see that. But I'll definitely go ahead and give him a thumbs up.
Yet the Thunder God still lives.
No matter. Neither Earthrealm nor Outworld can now withstand the Netherrealm.
The voice is a little bit different compared to the other games, but still, it was a good enough a voice that I liked it, you know, because Shinnok is technically an old man, so, you know, there's that as well. I mean, I don't know, how old is Shinnok? Did they ever tell how old he was? I want to know, did they ever explain how old he is? Oh. Yes. Of course. Of course you gotta put Mortal Kombat X Shinnok in there. He was the main boss again. As I said, he was the main boss in Mortal Kombat 4, and he was the main boss in Mortal Kombat Mythologies, and he was the main boss yet again in Mortal Kombat X, and he became corrupt as Shinnok and stuff. But yes, I had no idea it was even Troy Baker voicing. That's surprised to find out. Troy Baker was the one who voiced him. Wow. But yes, fantastic game. Anything from Mortal Kombat 9, X, or 11, you know I gotta give props to, because those are fantastic Mortal Kombat games. So heck yeah, double thumbs up. But man, Troy Baker, though, I had no idea it was him at all. I've heard of Troy Baker, and I heard he's a pretty good voice actor, and I'm sure there's a lot of other famous roles he's done over the years. I think maybe I might have seen some of them before, from like when James Universe was still on YouTube, before he took everything off his channel, before now he just calls himself, like his channel name was renamed, and he doesn't have his facial cams anymore, so, he doesn't... I don't know what happened or why he can't be on YouTube no more, but, I remember when he was doing reaction videos of some voice comparison, I think Troy Baker was in some of them. But yeah, he is a good voice actor. Troy Baker is a pretty talented voice actor, and I know he's done some other characters before, which I probably do know that he's voiced, but I just forgot about them. But even as Shinnok, he's pretty good too, so as I said, already double thumbs up for him as Shinnok. Fantastic game. Both that, Mortal Kombat 9, and Mortal Kombat 11. And as I said, Shinnok was actually in Mortal Kombat 11 as well, but he quickly got killed by Raiden. I think he did speak as well. Yeah, Shinnok did speak in Mortal Kombat 11. I don't know if Troy Baker was the same man that voiced Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 11 before his death from Raiden, but I don't know. Tell me in the comments, leave a comment down below. Did Troy Baker voice Shinnok again in Mortal Kombat 11 before he was killed by Raiden, or was it a different man? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, that's all of them. So, obviously, without a doubt, I don't really have a lot of favorites for Shinnok, but I guess when it comes down to it, I'll give it to Steve Burren, or however you say it, Steve Burren. I'll give it to Steve Burren, Gary Wingert, Nut, however you say his name, Newt Harwitz from Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Ken Laley, and Troy Baker. I think they're going to be my only picks for Shinnok, I think. Those are pretty much my only picks, I think. I mean, well, I give props to all of them because they're the only guys I liked, while Rainer from Mortal Kombat Annihilation was the only one I didn't like. But I give props to every single one of them, but I think when it comes down to personal favorites, I guess it'll have to be Newt, whatever his name from Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Ken Laley, and Troy Baker. Those will have to be my personal 3 favorites. But even Gary Winger and Steve Barron, their voices are great too. But for my personal favorites, it's just those 3. It's really just those 3. Newt Harwitz, however you say his name, Ken Laley, and Troy Baker. They're just my only personal top 3 only 3 favorites for Shinnok. It's just them 3, okay? I mean, like I said, those other 2 that I named are good too, but it's just those 3 that are my personal favorites. So now, let me know in the comments down below, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know who you love as the voice of Shinnok, and don't forget to share it with all your friends so you can get their honest opinions as well. So, there you have it, folks. My opinions are in. Now it's time for y'all to vote. So, who do you love as Shinnok? Let me know. So, I can't really say much else for it. So, in the next video, for my 3rd and last video, there'll be one more Mortal Kombat character I'll do for the day, and it's about 8:46, so you know what? I probably might have to wait for another day to find out if I'll do WWE 13 for the Wii Altitude Era mode. I'll probably save it maybe tomorrow or whenever I get the chance. I was gonna think about doing it after these videos, but I changed my mind. I think I'm going to be tired after I make the 3rd video in my next video, so you know what? I'll save it either tomorrow or whenever I just get the chance. I'll eventually get into WWE 13 for the Wii Altitude Era mode, okay? Once again, I'm sorry that y'all keep having to wait on that, but just please be patient. It will come soon because I made my decision. I will plan to do it over the summer because it's just going to be boring if I'm just sitting here all day just watching TV or Apple TV or YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it will come. I don't know when, but when it does come, you'll find out when I upload the first gameplay video of me playing it. But anyway, stay tuned for the next video, as in the next video would be my 3rd and last video for the day of Mortal Kombat character voice comparisons, and then I'll do some more whenever I get the chance to. So, I did Quan Chi in my last video, Shinnok for this one. Stay tuned for the next video to find out who I'll do next. So, until then, I'm out of here, y'all. That'll be it for today, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Dislike it, give it a thumbs down. Join me next time at the next video. To all you boys, men, and guys out there, fist bumps go to all of you. And to all the girls, ladies, and women out there, kisses got to all of you. But until then, this is Joe Flash signing off, and have a good day.